Okay. All right, let me make sure I'm recording here. Sorry. Yes, I am recording. All right. All right, so my name is Heidi Dito. I think most of you know that, and I'm a certified health coach with the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute. And one of my passions is to share about healthy living through education and inspiration and just support. And so one of the things that I really enjoy doing is putting together presentations and talking. So I'm hoping that the little pictures on the side will, let's see, I'm thinking, hopefully you'll be able to just, okay, you shouldn't really be able to see anybody right now. All right, so so what if you could just make simple changes to get healthier and feel better? Oh, if you're just joining us, you might want to get a pen and paper or something like technology-wise to take some notes, because I'm going to go pretty quickly through the slides, and I'd like to try to get it just down to less than 30 minutes now. So, so my family was plagued with all sorts of health issues, even though I really thought we were eating healthy, and compared to a lot of other people around me, we were. But what eating healthy is there's a huge range to that. And I started to realize that there were some things that we really were leaving out, and that was primarily fruits and vegetables. What we were putting in our body was pretty healthy, but what we were leaving out, you know, the processed foods and things like that, you know, that was good to leave out, but we were also leaving out a significant number of fruits and vegetables. So, and it's not debatable. We all know that fruits and vegetables are really important for us. And so I'm just going to share with you some simple things that really worked for us. And, you know, finding what works for you is such an individual thing. So I just encourage you to pick one thing and work on it consistently until it becomes a habit, and then add something else in. So you through this whole, you're going to get lots of ideas. So take what works and then leave the rest for another time. So, I want to start off, first of all, by, you know, having you think about your future and how do you see your future? And unfortunately, and I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but this is the reality for a lot of people who don't plan and have an investment in their HIRA, as Dr. Sears calls that, and that's our health retirement savings account. And that really is basically based on prevention. So if we don't really make conscious decisions, this is our future. You know, medicines and needing other people and hospitals and nursing homes and not being able to be as mobile as we want. Or do you see your future more active? You know, bike riding, golfing, whatever it is. And we really have to, you know, have a picture. If you're really young, this is the perfect time to start. If you're older, it's never too late to start adding in simple changes for quality of life. So start thinking about this. You know, where do you see yourself? Are you happy with where you're at? You know, have you ever given it any thought? I know when I was in my 30s and even my 40s, I didn't think of it for a moment. I was day to day trying to get through the day, and that was pretty much it. This is a really foggy picture, but I love this picture. You know, they're the same age about. So, you know, which one had a better health IRA? Obviously the one on the right. So these are some health facts. And again, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but these are facts that I chose that these are the statistics that are real. I found this one interesting, that 50% of heart attack victims have normal cholesterol levels. So, you know, we look at our blood work, and those are really good gauges of where we're at. But there's other things to look at, like, you know, size of your waistline, and it's not just a number on the scale. It's are you fit on the inside? Some people go to the gym all the time, but they're not putting good fuel in their body. 64% of adults are overweight, which in itself wouldn't be so bad, except for abdominal fat leads to to diabetes and to cardiovascular disease. So it's more than just, oh, I got a gut. It's way more than that. And 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will have cancer in his or her lifetime. And I think all of us have known somebody. Unfortunately, it's not somebody. It's more than one person that's had cancer, or who have actually died from cancer. So, and it's expensive. I mean, $6,700 per person is what national health care expenditures were in 2005. And of course, that's a long time ago. And kids, oh my goodness, they're not any better off. 1 in 4 children are obese. And if you look at, and also the second right here, by the age of 12, an estimated 70% of children have developed, are starting to develop cardiovascular, hardening of the arteries. And that's really troubling, because that was not something that was even, even on our radar when I was growing up. And I want you to look at this graph. And this ends at 2002. But in 2002, we were nearing 20% of children were obese, and now we are 1 out of 4. So that's closer to 25%, obviously. And if you look at the graph, when did processed food come out, and when did fast food really when was the advent of fast food and the availability of processed foods? Well, there's no denying that there is a link. It started around in the 70s. And look at here, 88, 99, and I could not get a current graph, but I could guarantee you it's probably much higher. Well, we know that it is much higher, actually. It's 1 out of 4 now, but to see it on a graph would have been kind of interesting. 7% of children are diagnosed with ADHD. I don't believe that that's an accident. Yes, maybe there are some overdiagnosed kids, but as Dr. Sears says, we don't have a vitamin deficiency. We have a nutrient deficiency. So I would dare to guess that most of those kids have more of a nutrient deficiency rather than an attention deficit. And when diet is changed, a lot of things happen in the body. A lot of good things happen. So processed foods. If you look at all these foods, everything, there's a little bit of tiny lettuce right here, and maybe a little tiny tomato, sick looking tomato. But foods like these are overcooked. They have loads of preservatives, chemicals, food dyes. And honestly, this is not uncommon for people to eat like this every single day. And these kind of foods cause inflammation. I call them dead foods. There's no live enzymes. There's no nutrition left in these at all. But that's not actually the worst part. The worst part is that it's clogging up your whole system. Well, I guess it is. They're both. It's all bad. Let's put it that way. Not only is it there's no nutrition in it, so you're not fueling your body, but you're actually dragging your body down, causing blood sugar spikes. And our bodies have to work so hard to process foods like this. So this poor guy, this is what inflammation causes in the body. And I found it really fascinating. I got this from my Dr. Sears coaching course. And I thought this is so interesting. Flat feet, painful ankles, sore hips. We know arthritis is related to inflammation, but there's other things that I wasn't really expecting, like poor vision, dental cavities, gallstones. This all has a root in inflammation. And our food quality, unfortunately, is decreasing. And remember the graph with the obesity for children? Well, it's all connected. We are seeing almost, if you go into any of the aisles of the grocery store and you don't shop around the outside of the grocery store, you're getting into the processed food areas. And those have labels, a lot of labels. Trans fats, they clog up the portals in your brain, basically, that need to let in the good fats. Artificial colors, flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, all of these are not good for your health, and they're doing bad things in your body. And there's a correlation between the spike of chronic diseases and cancers and things like that, because the body doesn't know what to do with this. It's not food. It gets confused. It has to sequester it. It has to process. It has to do something with it. And one of my health coach friends said I could share this with you. I thought this is a whole different perspective on it if you don't believe me. The Pepsi, migraine in a bottle, depression in a bag, heart disease in the Skippy peanut butter. All of these include ingredients that have something in them that support these conditions, or some of them even have ingredients that have proven to cause certain conditions in the body, and yet they're still in our food. So the FDA doesn't monitor what goes into food. They only inspect where food is processed, and they approve drugs. So if it's not a drug, the FDA does not approve it. Now, there are some things that are banned in the United States, actually quite a few things are banned in Europe that are actually in these products that you see right here, like some of the food colors and the preservatives and things like that. Okay, great news though. Many chronic diseases can be prevented or reversed. And we used to think, oh, if epigenetic, or if high blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes runs in the family, I'm more likely to get it. Well, you are slightly more likely to get it, but what's more important are the diet and lifestyle choices that you make. And your best defense is, and this is not a great photo. Whoops, sorry. Your best defense is actually, I'm going to have to skip, I think I moved my antioxidants actually in fruits and vegetables. It's not a great photo. I apologize for that. But I love this. The Time magazine said in 2003, the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's that they are so good for you they could save your life. So, and I know this to be true, that fruits and vegetables really are the powerhouses. Our American diet is not low on macronutrients like fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. We're definitely low on the micronutrients, which is what is found in fruits, vegetables, and grains. So I'm going to start off with a few lifestyle solutions. I'm going to focus mostly on diet. But whatever you choose, the important thing is to pick something that you like, and unless it's smoking, because then you're going to not pick that. And consistency is key. So whatever it is that you're doing, pick something you like so that you'll be doing it consistently, whether it's yoga, high interval training, walking, weights. There's so many different ways to be active. Bicycle riding, walking around the block, walking the dog, going up and down your stairs. If you don't normally go up and down stairs at work, and you just start adding that in, that's movement that you did not have the day before. Anything that you will consistently do makes a difference. And it doesn't have to be that heavy, hardcore, sweating workout. Now, that has value too. But again, if you're not going to do that, don't pick it, right? You can do that later. You can add something else in that you will be consistent with. Intermittent fasting, a simple thing to do, and it's free, and you actually save money because you're not buying food to eat after 6. No eating after 6 p.m. And then you don't eat again until morning or sometimes even lunchtime. You can have black coffee or tea or water or lemon water or something, but giving your body that break is wonderful on the waistline, on the digestive system, for mental clarity, and it's free, totally simple. Obviously, don't smoke and avoid secondhand smoke. Use mineral-based sunscreens. The sunscreens that are so common, especially a lot of the sprays, they have chemicals in them, and I will lay a bet that they will eventually be banned because I believe they probably cause skin cancer just as bad as the sun. Those chemicals go right into your bloodstream. They go through the skin, and they're absorbed into the body, into the bloodstream. And what is your body going to do with carcinogenics? Everybody's different. Some people it might not affect, but it's not something you want to have on your body on a daily basis. Laughing is a great one. That's one of my favorite ones. Adequate sleep. That's a tough one, but it's simple, and again, it's free. So I like free. Free is really good. So let's skip ahead now. So foods like these are the powerhouse types of foods, and I just put a few up here. I'm not advocating that you eat raw sushi or anything like that. That's a personal choice, but it's a very clean food, I guess you would say. Peppers and if you notice, everything here is not cooked. It's all raw. And there's a lot of value in raw, because when we eat something raw, we're getting all these enzymes that help us break down the food. These fruits and vegetables have a lot of fiber in them, which helps stabilize blood sugar. It slows down the absorption of whatever carbohydrates are in, and fiber is a carbohydrate. Carbs are not evil. So whatever is in that carbohydrate or in that fruit is being slowed down as it's absorbed because of the fiber. And again, on a consistent basis is like super important. Now this shocked me. Okay, most Americans get 0 to 2 servings a day. But what's really shocking even more to me is that that's where my family was at, even as a health coach. Now I was hovering around 4 to 5, and I'm talking every day. It's not, most days. This was every day. but it was really very few. There was very little variety, and so 15% of people get 5 servings of fruit and vegetables. And you know, the whole variety thing, you really can't get more variety at your grocery store unless, I mean, you're only able to access what you can grow and what you can purchase. And especially around here, there's not a lot of variety in our grocery stores in South Mississippi. There is some, but you have to be willing to get creative. So one of my first, sorry, my nose is still running from the jalapeno. That thing, my fingers are still on fire. So one of my favorite simple solutions for getting more fruits and vegetables every single day is raw and fresh every meal. And it does not matter what it is. If you love onions, get a couple slices of onions. You can have a couple, it doesn't even matter. It could be a half a banana or a half an apple, a handful of grapes, baby carrots, whatever it is, you're getting those raw, those enzymes from that raw food, and that's what helps break down the rest of what we're eating. So our enzymes come from our pancreas, and then it comes from our raw, fresh fruits and vegetables. And without those, our pancreas not only has to work harder, our bodies have to just work so hard to digest the food, and we don't want that. We want to get all the nutrients that we can. So raw and fresh every meal is a very simple thing that you can add. It takes a little thought, but even my kids, they know how to do that. They will actually brag to me and say, look, Mom, I've got something raw. I've got something fresh. And I'm like, good for you. So I like to just have things on hand. Another simple solution is getting 50% or more of your plate of vegetables. It's a little more difficult to get 50% raw or fresh, so this is usually when we bring in some cooked things, but still, raw or fresh or cooked, 50%. I recently heard Lisa Kilgore share on a TEDx talk about planning your vegetables out. Like when we do meal planning, you know, a lot of times it's, you know, oh, I'm going to have chicken on Thursday night. What am I going to serve with it? Flip it. Say, okay, Thursday night, I'm going to have spinach and roasted potatoes and some asparagus, and maybe I'll serve some grilled chicken with that. You know, plan your vegetables first. And then 1 week a month, I love this. Pick a fruit or vegetable you've never had and try it several times. That's how you can bring in new foods. It takes about 7 to 8 times for someone to really get a taste for something. I know, because that was my story with avocados. I couldn't stand avocados, and I kept trying them because I knew they were good for me, and now I absolutely love them. Another one, now fresh juices is not simple. I put that in there, though, because if you have access to fresh juices, I'm not saying juicing at home, because that is not a simple process. It's very expensive. It's very messy. But sometimes people have access to fresh juices. I say go for it. You know, there's little businesses, small businesses around that sell it. You know, if you can get that, fantastic. Now keep in mind that fresh juice, once it's juiced, it starts to lose its nutrients almost right away, but it still contains more nutrients in it than, say, orange juice that you get at the store or something like that. One of my favorite solutions is a shake. And my favorite is the Complete Shake by Juice Plus. It's absolutely delicious. You can mix just about anything into it. I also throw in all kinds of things like spinach and kale and bananas, and so I'm getting even more fruits and vegetables into my diet by drinking a really yummy shake. I make a banana cream pie shake. I make salted caramel and strawberry milkshakes, all kinds of stuff. I use a non-dairy milk, like almond or soy or coconut, and it keeps your blood sugar really stable. And it's got some things in there that you normally would not eat, like sprouted grains and some things like that are slipped in there. So that's absolutely one of my most favorite things, and it's very simple. You just throw it all in the blender and take it with you wherever you go. It's our fast food. And some more simple solutions. We do this a lot. We keep frozen berries and vegetables on hand. The frozen vegetables are great to just throw in the smoothie because, you know, you can, for me, it's easy to find organic frozen vegetables, easier sometimes than it is the fresh, and then they don't go bad. The frozen berries are great. You can just throw them in a smoothie bowl or shake or just eat them. I love getting a bowl of frozen organic cherries and just putting a little bit of 100% coconut milk on it. I feel like I'm having a dessert. It's so good. And sometimes I'll sprinkle a little of the complete shake mix on top when I'm really feeling like I need a little bit, something a little bit more. Spices are not fruits and vegetables, but they have a lot of power to them. The ones I mentioned here, like turmeric and ginger, they're really good for the digestion. Cinnamon and fennel, even cayenne is excellent. Kombucha is a great way to break a soda habit. In fact, I have a friend of mine who does kombucha classes, and if you're local, by all means, I'll hook you up with her. She is fantastic, and I can't wait to take a class with her because she really knows what she's doing. Meal planning is really important. Planning for when you're away from home. You know, if you walk out the door in the morning and you don't take anything with you, you're setting yourself up to fail because you're out and about. And what are you going to grab when you're out and about? Unless you live in like some really great hip little place that has, you know, vegan and gluten-free and all this great food. Like we were just in Austin and like you could get anything you wanted. It was amazing. But most people don't live with access to that. And have a plan for dining out. There's a couple things. Some people eat out a lot, whether it's for work or just for pleasure. There's nothing wrong with dining out. It's actually quite nice, especially if you have some really great places you can eat at. But preview the, excuse me, preview the menu because, excuse me. Ooh, note to self. Too much jalapeno. Preview the menu because you can make your choice ahead of time when you're less likely to be really hungry. And you could also say, you know what, I'm going to maybe have a shake before I leave because I don't really like a lot of the stuff on the menu. And I'm not comfortable with a lot of the choices because sometimes we don't get to choose where we eat. So pick one thing and do it until it's consistent. Just be very, very consistent. And then add something else. Don't be overwhelmed. Okay, this is my other one simple change that I absolutely love. It is the most simple thing that we do. It takes less than a minute a day. We take a whole food supplement called Juice Plus, and it's 30 vine ripened concentrated fruit and vegetable powders in a capsule or gummy. And I also take the Omega. The whole family takes it. And some of the reasons why I love it so much, it's truly unique. It's food. It's fungicide-free, pesticide-free. It's affordable. If you've ever bought organic apples, you know they're very expensive. And I can, for the same, basically the same price, I can get 30 fruits and vegetables. And these are things that I normally would not eat or even have access to. Like the berry blend has things like bilberry and black currant, elderberry. Elderberries become more popular, but still, these are just not foods that I can easily get on a daily basis. And I'm not going to really eat beets. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to eat beets. There's some things I'm not going to eat, but I know they're so good for me and they're in what I'm taking every day. And it's so easy to be consistent with it because it's just a couple capsules or some chewables. It's NSF certified, which is so huge because most people don't realize that what's on the shelf, there is no monitoring entity. Okay, the FDA does not inspect it. They inspect food processing plants. They don't approve it. So NSF certified says that what is on the label is actually in the package, in the container, nothing more and nothing less. So what you are paying for, you see that on the label, and you know it's doing good things in your body because it's also clinically researched. So Juice Plus it says over 35 gold standard studies. I think we're actually closer to 38, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But some of the studies that we have are really impressive. Most of them show that it's bioavailable. Like it's into the bloodstream, it does good things. So all the thousands of dollars that I've spent on vitamins over the years, I have no idea if it did any good. I never felt any better, but I thought I was doing something good. Now I know I'm doing something good, and I know I'm not wasting my money. It's not passing through my urine or being sequestered someplace weird in one of my organs to later show up as cancer, which is what vitamins can do. It reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, cardiovascular. All this research is available on my website, and you can actually go into the actual studies. I don't want to run out of time. This is one of my favorite parts is that kids get it for free. All of my kids get it for free through our adult orders. I sponsor one child, my mother-in-law sponsors another one, and my husband sponsors our third child. And we have some really good results from this population study 60%, 66% visited the doctor less. That's definitely been our case. We're considered new patients now if we have to go back to the doctor because we haven't been in so long. 71% noticed that their kids were eating less fast food and soda. There's some other statistics like people notice that their kids are drinking more water, and they start eating more fruits and vegetables on their own after a while because of metabolic reprogramming. The body starts to crave what it's getting. So even if it's getting it in a capsule or a chewable, it starts to want more of that. So the body is very, very smart. Also, the omegas are such an easy fix. I'm not a fan of salmon. I'm really not a fan of much fish, but fish only really provides omega-3, and we need the full spectrum. This is a complete omega blend, and it's vegan, and it actually tastes pretty good. So I love that Dr. Sears calls it the #1 nutrient with most health effects for all ailments at all ages. And you remember this guy, okay? If this guy were eating omegas on a regular, consistent basis, he most likely would not be having some of these ailments. But I like that it's got some really good quality oils in there that we wouldn't normally go out to the store and buy these things. Pomegranate seed oil, raspberry seed, sea buckthorn berry is a very, very exotic oil, only grown in Indonesia, I believe. And omegas are just essential for good cardiovascular health and your brain function. And I call it the lubricant for the body. I mean, it's something that we don't get in our diet. We get tons of 6. We get an overload of 6 from canola oil and cottonseed oil and some sunflower. Is it sunflower seed? I think it's sunflower seed. There's a lot of oils that have a lot of 6 in it, but 6, when it's out of balance with the other oils, which is what our American diet is, it causes more inflammation. So you want to stick to like the olive oils, and obviously the oils in the omega blend are brilliant. And this is not simple, but this is one of my passions, is our tower garden. I absolutely love the tower garden. It is, once you get it going, it is a really simple way to grow fresh produce. You'll see over here I have this beautiful lettuce growing, and I went to pick some lettuce a couple nights ago, and I noticed I didn't have much left. And that's when my 14-year-old said, oh yeah, because every time I walk by into the kitchen, I am eating lettuce off the tower. So I thought he said, it's just so tender and it's so good. And he's just picking it off raw, eating it like that. So 98% less water than a regular garden. Now we had a lot of drought here recently, and then we had a lot of rain. Well, my towers were completely fine. I didn't have to water them. I actually didn't even check on them. The plants grow 3 times faster. It's just fun. It's a very easy way to grow food. There's a few kinks to work out depending on the climate that you live in and things like that. I have one outside now, and I have one inside, so I can grow lettuce because it's too hot down here to grow lettuce in the summertime. All right. So what I want to hit on again is consistency. You know, what builds habits is consistency. And so we want to get that metabolic reprogramming going. I remember a day where if I were offered a donut, a really good Krispy Kreme or an Anna's donut, if you live around here, you know Anna's donuts are amazing. I couldn't pass it up. I don't even think about it now. I can look at them. I don't even want it. I don't have to think about whether or not I want it. It doesn't even occur to me to have it. My metabolic reprogramming took several years, to be honest. I don't crave sugary anything anymore. I crave salad, which is crazy because I never was a big salad person, believe it or not. Consistency gives results, and we want results for long-term health. So don't be overwhelmed. Pick one simple thing, something that we went over, one thing that really speaks to you, one thing that's easy, and do it every day. And if you find you have a hard time doing it, pick something else. Do it until it becomes a habit, and then go back and pick something else. Or maybe you have other things that work that you want to try. But whatever it is, you have to do it with consistency, or you're not going to get the results that you want. And people sometimes think they have to go all out and make these big, grand changes and you know, just overhaul their whole health overnight. Well, that usually doesn't work. In some situations, that is required. Someone that has a morbid obesity or very dangerous diabetes. And if that's the case, you need to work with your health professional. And we do have a Shred 10 program, which I would be more than happy to talk to you about that some other time. You can reach out to me or whoever invited you. The Shred 10 gives pretty immediate results as far as leveling off blood sugar and things like that. It's a complete lifestyle change. Some people do it for 10 days, 30 days, 4 months, or it's a lifestyle. For me, it's actually become a lifestyle, and for our family, it's pretty much a lifestyle. So I am going to stop the share. I told you I was going to go fast, fast, fast. So I will open it up. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to unmute everybody. If anybody has any, I don't know if I can unmute everybody. Some people kept themselves muted. That's fine. So if does anybody have any questions, you can put them in the chat, and or you can just talk. Or if you want to add anything, any successes, or maybe you have a simple change that I didn't include that you'd like to share with anybody.
I just want to say thank you. That was amazing. So much good info, Heidi. That was awesome.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you. And I do have it recorded. Thanks. So I'm going to stop the recording now, actually. I do